Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mental Health Talk with Christina McIntyre. First things first, happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there and the women that assume the role as well. Um, First of all, take the day to relax and to unwind and do whatever you need to bring you some peace and happiness to yourself. Being a mother is a rewarding thing and it can be hectic but it has its good sides and stuff, and it comes with bringing life into this world. Before I get into that, don't forget to follow me on Facebook, BYC Become Your C, Instagram, Become Your C, TikTok, Become Your C, and YouTube, BYC Become Your C. Go to YouTube to subscribe so you can see all my latest podcasts and get to stay in the know. I don't have a website right now. I'm trying to get it up and running, so just bear with me. I'm trying to do a lot of different changes in the next upcoming months. I'm just trying to follow the direction of the energy where it's trying to lead me. So trying to work out some things. But today's topic, I wanted to talk about mothers and their mental health. And it's important because I believe as mothers, we tend to take on a lot of different roles and we struggle with our mental health. And at times, it can seem that we don't have the help and the support that we need. It's important to realize that, yes, we're mothers, but we're also human and we're people, and that there is no perfect mother. Like, we make our mistakes and we learn as we go. Children know when you are a good parent, even though they may get angry at you because you take away things, or they get angry at you because they're growing up trying to become themselves. At the end of the day, children love when you give them discipline. They'll grow up and they'll remember that. They won't remember all the toys and things. Sometimes people try to buy them to show affection and love, but they'll remember you being there, being present in their life. And being present is not just, oh, they live with you. Being present means being involved with them. And it's important that as we grow as mothers, that we don't forget who we are as women first. And I think a lot of times when we do become mothers, that we put ourselves on the back burner because we're trying to make sure that our children are okay, because they are our responsibility until they are at least of age to take care of themselves. And even then, children will still come back. But it's important that you know that whatever you're going through, especially with your mental health, it is okay to struggle. It's okay to have questions. It's okay to have thoughts. It's okay to need to take a break. That's fine. I think it's important that we learn how to do self-care, especially with being a mom and you're juggling that responsibility as well as working and doing whatever else you need to do. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't be great for those little ones that we're trying to raise. So make sure that you put yourself as a priority, because it's important. We need you here as long as possible. I salute mothers that are actively involved in their children's life, because we play an important role. We're their first person. We bring life and they look up to us. So again, don't be hard on yourself for not being a perfect mom. We're going to make mistakes. I know I do. I've questioned myself whether, I'm the greatest mom in the world. But at the end of the day, children know who they can go to when they need that safety and that comfort. So just be there, be present with them. Being a mom for me has changed me, because before I had my son, I was struggling a little with addiction to alcohol. And so when I first got pregnant with him, of course, you can't drink and be pregnant. And so it forced me to make some changes. And even now that he's older, I still, I'm prompt with learning about myself. The more that he grows up, the more that I learn about myself and what I need to do to make myself better, and also pay attention to him. Children most of the time are the reflection of their parents, and I laugh because certain things that my child does, I wonder how I was when I was growing up. And so being a parent has also taught me about patience and learning how to heal my inner child wounds so that they don't reflect on my child. And I think it's important that we can do the best that we can, and there's no right or wrong way to parent as long as you giving your child those necessities they need. They don't need toys and they don't need lavish things. They need a parent that is emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically available to them. They need that comfort, they need the love, and they need the support. We can always acquire things, but one thing we can't do is take back time. So make sure you spend quality time with your child, even if it is for a few moments every day. And as they grow up, of course, they're not going to want to spend as much time, but children always remember who was there. So that's what's important. So let's get into this topic. Mothers and mental health. 1 in 5 mothers have a mental health disorder, but a lot of times a lot of them go underdiagnosed. And why does it get underdiagnosed? Is because a lot of moms, after they have children, they feel like they are supposed to be that superwoman and they're not supposed to complain and they're supposed to keep all those things in, and they don't want to be judged for having the thoughts that they have. And so a lot of times they don't get the help that they need, especially after they have children, because your body changes, your hormones are changing, everything changes. I swear that once I had my son, I feel like my energy level has never gotten back to the point where it was at. You got to think of it like we're pushing life outside of us, right? I believe in energy transfer. So our energy, some of our energy went into that child. They took a piece of us, if it makes sense to you. And so it's important that we definitely get ourselves in check. 68% of mothers have a mental health disorder, more than 600,000 each year. Now, it may seem like a small number compared to like the amount of people, but you gotta think a lot of mothers do not report going through what they're going through. I know some women that suffer, and they suffer in silence because they're afraid of the stigma. They're afraid that their children may get taken away, especially if they have certain thoughts and feelings. So they never get the help that they need, and they need the help because this can, unfortunately, it can help the mom and the child and the mother become the best parent they can if they get the help that they need. 1 in 7 women experience depression during their pregnancy, right? Up to 50% of women living in poverty will suffer from mental health disorder. And that's because a lot of time when you live in the low poverty area, there is not access to health care, especially with mental health, right? Especially if you get government assistance, if you go past the guideline, you get cut off of everything. So they don't have access. They can't afford the help that they need. So they still continue to suffer. Rate of depression double for African American moms. And this is sad because I think having mental health access should be accessible to every culture. But the fact that is that a lot of Black women, and I know this from having a Black aunt that raised me, is that we're supposed to be strong all the time, and we're supposed to not need help, and we're supposed to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders without complaint. And that's just not fair, right? We have feelings, we have emotions, we go through things. And so why is it that it seems that we're not supposed to get the help that we need? So because of this stigma, these labels that there are on Black women and Black mothers, they suffer in silence. And what happens when depression doesn't get treated, it can turn into other things such as bipolar and schizophrenia. And sadly enough, some mothers commit suicide because they don't get the help that they need because of the stigma and the labels, and because they don't have the access to it. Mothers who suffer, it just doesn't affect the mother, it affects everyone around them. So if the mom is suffering, it's going to affect their children as well. And I can say from experience, it does. I battle with anxiety and panic and OCD and PTSD and depression. And I remember years ago, before I went to therapy, I was I was in a deep, it seemed like a year-long depression. And what happened, I would come home and I would be involved with my son, but I wasn't really there. I would do what I needed to do, like you feed, clothe him, make sure he go to bed, but I wasn't involved because I wasn't in my own self. So in turn, that affects him. I can't be an effective mom because I'm sitting here and struggling with myself. And that affects him because he doesn't get the love and nurturing that he needs. That's why I said it's important to take care of yourself, because if you don't, you can't give you can't be present in that moment that you need to for you and your child. So it's important to make sure that you're checking in on yourself. Some disorders that can come with being a mother is depression, anxiety, psychosis. Psychosis is the emotions and thoughts that make you lose what's reality, right? You can't differentiate between reality and what's going on in your head, which is fiction. PTSD. And there are some other disorders that I'm going to talk about as well. The illness can be biological, psychological, and social stressors such as lack of support, family history, or previous disorders. So if you're already, like for me, before I had my son, I already had anxiety, I had panic attacks, I had OCD, and I had depression. Oddly enough, when I was pregnant, I didn't have a panic or anxiety attack, but right after, the day after, they started coming back. My family, there's a history of mental health illness, so I have a lot of factors in front of me that kind of can make it worse. Your environment, not having that support. We listen and see all the time about mothers that are alone raising children, and people don't understand how hard that is, how hard it is to have to take care of a household and to make sure everything is getting paid, and making sure your child has what they need, and making sure that they involved, because as children grow older, they want to be involved in stuff that have the finances to do that, but also juggle between that and working a job, being able to have time for yourself while doing all of this. So not having the support system, especially at home, can contribute to having mental health. You feel like you're alone, you feel isolated, and it's sad and it's unfortunate a lot of women go through this. And I feel like if we start taking care of women and mothers and making sure that they have what they need, that this issue could be lessened, right? We need support, and we don't need it just at random. We need it every day, and it's okay to want support and need support. For me, it's an emotional need, it's a mental need. You want to have people, someone there that in times of stress that they could calm you, because being a mom, from my perspective, is stressful. You're always worrying. For me, I get up in the middle of the night and I still check on my son, and he's 9 years old, to make sure that he is okay. And I don't know if that'll ever go away. And we always worrying about, okay, how can we do this? How can we put things together? How can we, try to work in balance a career, or you're trying to be an entrepreneur, maybe you want to go back to school, maybe you're trying to figure things out on your own, can be hard. So you need someone there to help support you. 80% of women experience the baby blues, crying, mood swings. If it's more than 2 weeks, it's depression. A lot of us, we get sad, but when that sadness turns into prolonged periods, such as more than 2 weeks, it's depression. 20% of mothers experience postpartum depression. It can be treatable. You have extreme sadness, concentrating, and bonding with your child. Now, I want to talk about this postpartum depression, because I dealt with it for up to 2 years after I had my son. And some people said I was making it up. And it's a very real thing, because I suffered from depression and anxiety and PTSD and OCD before I had my son. And I'm not going to talk about the pregnancy a whole lot, but I felt alone a lot. So I didn't have support. And so even after I had him, I struggled, right? I struggled with my emotions, my hormones. I was breastfeeding. It was a lot of things changed in a very short time period. And so what happened was, I had thoughts that maybe I should just run away and my son would be better off. And it lasted 2 years. It took me a long time to, I love being a mom, but to bond with my child, it felt so unreal that I was a mother at that point. And a lot of women, this gets misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed, postpartum depression. A lot of people won't believe you. They're saying, oh, it's just your hormones, they'll go back. Mine lasted for 2 years, and I had to struggle by myself. I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't know how to reach out. I didn't want people to look at me like there was something wrong with me. You know that feeling that you get after you have a child. Some people are elated, and I just wasn't. I was sad, and a lot of women feel like they can't speak up about it. It's wrong for them to feel sad. They just had this baby. It should be a wonderful experience. But I was under so much stress during my pregnancy and after that I was never able to capture that moment. And a lot of women are going through this, and they should not have to go through it alone. They should not have to feel ashamed because some changes are going on in their body. And so for me, I suffered alone, and I still continue to suffer from depression. Now, it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's a struggle, and I'm predisposed. I have a family history of mental illness, and so it's biological, and it's a chemical makeup. And I think that being oh, thank you, Tyrone. um a lot of women that do have postpartum depression don't never tell nobody it. And unfortunately, it's sad. We heard of stories where mothers decide to kill their children and themselves because they're struggling immensely with these thoughts, because they can't get the help that they need. They don't have the support, and they're afraid to go get the help because they don't want their children to get taken away from them. I think a lot of women feel like if they tell someone their thoughts and feelings, that they're afraid that their children are going to get it taken away. So they suffer in silence. And what happens when you suffer in silence, them thoughts start to seem real. And when they start to seem real, you may react on them. And unfortunately, death may be a result of that. And so for me, I'm telling you, I wish I knew what I knew now. Go get the help that you need, even if people are not there to support you. You deserve to get the best quality care possible, so that you can be the best mom that you can be to your children. Your children need you here, and we need you here as a mom and a woman, first of all. So take care of your mental health. Forget the stigma. Forget people that's not going to support you. Your mental health is the most important thing, because your mental controls every other part of yourself, right? Your mental affects your emotions, affects your spiritual side and your physical side as well. So get that in check. 15, maternal dyspnea. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong. You can have low mood occurring for 2 years along with 2 other symptoms of depression. I can't pronounce this word right, and forgive me, it's dysthymiA. So maternal dysthymia, I think I'm pronouncing it. So this is low mood occurring for 2 years along with 2 other symptoms of depression. 15% of women develop anxiety during pregnancy, after childbirth, restlessness, extreme worry, low self-confidence, and self-esteem. So I struggle with this as well, right? I didn't have anxiety during my pregnancy, thank goodness, but extremely after. I always worried, was I doing enough for my child? I breastfed, so I was wondering if he was getting the nutrients he need. I was struggling with becoming a first-time mom. That definitely was like it, being pregnant, and then it was a lot of changes after I had my son. It was definitely a lot on me, and a lot of women go through this. Postpartum OCD. This affects 3 to 5% of women. 50% of women have OCD thoughts and internally harming the baby, and this is sad. I never had like thoughts of harming, but definitely OCD. When my son was after I had him, I had to make sure everything was clean and spotless. I constantly was picking up after him, and to the point one day I had to stop myself and like, hey, them toys can stay there until he's finished playing with them. Like, it got to the point where it was driving me insane. And yes, I still have OCD to this day, but it's not as intense as it was in the past. So if you have OCD, and it stands for obsessive compulsive disorder, where you can do like rituals or things and repeat. For me, my OCD is double checking or triple, quadruple checking car doors, making sure the stove's off. Like, it's little things that if anything is thrown out of order, it drives you crazy. Birth related PTSD. 1 and 3. Trauma during pregnancy, so birth-related PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, trauma during the delivery and postpartum period, having flashback, intense memories of the event. So this is finding out, like, you're pregnant, finding out there's something wrong with the child, or delivering stillborn, or a problem during the delivery can cause birth-related PTSD. Women suffer from this, and a lot of women don't get the help that they need, especially sadly if they have a stillborn child. I don't know what it's like to deliver stillborn, because I only have one son, but it's unfortunate that women have to go through that. You carry this child, and then come to find out that they're no longer here. Can be a sad experience, and so definitely there should be more supportive counsel at the hospital during times like this, so that women can effectively get the help that they need before they leave the hospital. But I know back in the day, you used to be able to stay in the hospital for like a week at a time, and now when I had my son, it's limited to like 2 days. Sometimes if you're doing great one day, you need full recovery, you need the support, because sometimes the symptoms don't kick in right away. For me, my anxiety did not kick in until a day or so after having my son. So it's important that you're monitored properly, and a lot of women don't get the support they need. And I know with the African American community, a lot of women are fearful of having children in the hospital because of the statistics of Black women losing their life, or their children losing their life of having birth in a hospital. And that can cause PTSD as well. Birth loss and grief. 10 to 15% of pregnancy and then miscarriage. So it's unfortunate and sad that women have miscarriages, and it's nothing, a lot of times it's nothing that you as a woman are doing wrong. It just happens. And I believe sometimes maybe for a reason, and it's a sad event to have to go through, especially when you really want a child and you lose that child through miscarriage. And you see a lot of women, they do the virtual IVF just to have a child, or just know that it's nothing that you as a woman are doing. You can't prevent miscarriages. Sometimes they just happen, and I know it's a sad thing, and I just try to think of it like this, like maybe that child was not ready for this world yet, and they were taken back because this wasn't the time for them. So never feel like it's your fault, right? And I believe that when we are ready, we'll get blessed with the child that we need, or children that we need. For me, one child is enough. Black women face double stillbirth rates, and Native Americans are the second. And this is so sad. I was just talking about that black women or black mothers, Native American mothers, are the two top cultures that suffer from stillbirths more. Because I believe, one, they don't have the access that they need to the healthcare they need. And a lot of, again, this goes through years of color women are supposed to be stronger. They don't feel as intense pain as, let's say, other races. And so they're not getting the help that they need. When they say, hey, like, I need help, I'm feeling pain, oh, you're fine, or you fine. It was one video last year of a father, he was left to raise his child because the mom died shortly after pregnancy because she didn't get the help that she needed. So it's sad that we still have things that go like this. That's why a lot of you see a lot of women are turning to home births because they feel safer. They don't feel safe in a hospital, and this is something that has to stop. But it's also, can we control what goes on in the hospital? Do we know actually what's going on there? So definitely, it's a sad case. It's a sad number, but do your research. If I had to become a mother again, which I'm not, one is enough for me. But I would definitely look into home birth, the more holistic way of bringing a child in this world. And if you go back centuries, right, they or different cultures, the delivery for a child is different in every culture. So definitely, if you are a mother thinking about having another child, or you thinking about becoming a mother, look at your options, weigh out your options. You do not have to go the road that go the way that we were taught, right? You don't have to give birth in the hospital to feel safe. Home birth can be safe too. Just do your research, look at different cultures and how they give birth. I know something I read years ago where you had to give birth actually squatting. So it's important that we learn about these things for ourselves as well. Let's see what I talked over. Let me speed this up a little bit. Postpartum psychosis. 2 out of 10 every thousand deliveries, 1 to 2% of births. So psychosis, again, is altered thought of reality and fiction. Intrusive thoughts. Now, this is common, so don't beat yourself up for having some negative thinking. 70 to 100% of women and their partners experience intrusive thoughts during childbirth. You gotta think, your body is going through changes, your life is about to change. Like, when you become a mother, you're making a choice, right, to put someone else before yourself. The child comes first. I say self-care, not saying that you don't come first, because at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself first. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for another being. And those changes is overwhelming. It's no longer doing what you want when you want it. This child comes first, raising them to be the best at the person they can be, because at the end of the day, once children reach of age, once they become an adult, they make their own choices and sacrifices. And gotta let go. But we try to do the best that we can to raise them to become the best that they can, because we are raising children to go out into a society, and so we want them to be the best person that we can be. And so all those changes, like I'm about to become a mother, my life's about to change, oh, I can't, it's overwhelming, and it's okay to not have good thoughts all the time. I think that when you think outside of the box, you think negative, like, oh, you're supposed to, no one's happy all the time. Being a mother is not a happy time all the time. It can be a struggle at times. I have a 9-year-old that likes to talk back a lot. Sometimes I'm stressed out. Sometimes I get overwhelmed, and that is perfectly normal. Like, there's no perfect parent. There's no, it's okay to not love being a mother 100% of the time. And I think mothers need to hear that. It's okay to think about what life was like before you had a child. I think more women need to support other mothers as well, that don't have it all together, like you don't cook home cooked meals all the time, or sometimes you're stressed out, sometimes you give them a snack just so that you can have peace and quiet. It's okay that you don't have it all together. We learn as we go. And I think more mothers need to hear that you're okay as long as you give your child love, like unconditional love, and try to do the best that you can, and knowing that it's okay if you're not excited 100% of the time. Most mothers try to care for their children before themselves. And when you don't get your mental health in check, you can't bond with your child. It's hard to relate to your child, so you distance yourself. You feel ashamed. I already talked about this. You're afraid to ask for help, right? And this is the big thing. We can't ask for help. We're not supposed to ask for help because we are mothers. We are supposed to be superwomen. We're supposed to be the cook, the maid, the support system, the financial advisor. We're supposed to be all this without support. No one, it's hard to do it by yourself. You struggle, and you struggle when you have to struggle alone. You're left alone with your thoughts. You have no one to talk to, no one there to kind of take the burden off of you sometimes, right? Trying to take care of a household and a child and their activities, and you're trying to run, let's say you're doing your own business, it's a struggle. And if you don't have the support there, it can be overwhelming. So, to those that have mothers, women that are mothers in their life, if you're going to be there and support them. And support doesn't have to be much. I think people think support, sometimes it's okay to cook dinner for that mother. It's okay to pick up some slack. It's okay to take the child somewhere. It's okay to tell her to go take an hour or so to herself. It's okay to give her a day off. She needs that. Mothers need a break. Sometimes it can get overwhelming in life, having to take care of everything by yourself, right? They need the support. So be the support system. And other mothers, if you know a mother, support each other. Because we need that. We need to support each other. Because at the end of the day, life is a struggle. It's not going to change. We chose to become mothers. But at the end of the day, we still need support. What can we do to help our mental health? Knowing the signs, knowing when you're not feeling like yourself. It's okay to have these thoughts. It's okay to have these feelings, because your body is changing. Your life has changed. And it's not going to say never go back, but it won't go back to the way it was before. And it's okay to have questions about, being a mom. Like, it's okay to not be happy being a mom all the time. It's a struggle. Is it rewarding? Yes, I'm glad that I am a mom, but it's a struggle as well. Why isn't it okay to say that? You don't have to be excited about everything all the time. No one is happy 100% of the time. When we are mothers, we tend to question ourselves a lot if we're doing the right thing all the time. And at the end of the day, there are no blue books or a book to tell you how to become a perfect mom, because you will never be a perfect mom. You are okay just the way you are. As long as you given the child their needs, once their needs are fulfilled, at the end of the day, okay, they may be mad at you for you not giving them what they want, but they'll always come back to the person that was there for them, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. All that other stuff over time, like, I'm thankful for my mom to give me birth. Like, she didn't raise me my entire life, but I'm thankful for that. She struggles with her own mental health issues. I'm thankful for the aunt that raised me, because without her love and nurturing and support, that I would never be to where I'm at. So, did my aunt struggle raising me? Yes, she did. And people used to tell her, because I was almost a teenager, not to even get me, not to even bother. And I'm thankful that she chose the opposite, that she chose to take a chance and raise me. Because without her, I don't know if I would have turned out as great as I am. So with her guidance, love. So love of the women that are mothers or standing in the position as a mother, because being a mother necessarily doesn't require you to, I mean, rhetorically speaking, you have to give birth to be a mother. But for me, a mother comes in many different ways. A mother is that woman that's there for you. Like, I have a stepmother, and my stepmom has always been an active role in me and my brothers and sisters' lives, and for that, that's a mother. Just because she didn't give birth doesn't make her a mom. So definitely honor the mothers that you do have, those women that stand in the forefront, that fight and struggle and take the world on their shoulders each and every day. Make sure you do this. This is most important. Self-care. At the end of the day, right? Our children are going to be okay if they have to eat like leftovers, or if they have to sit by themselves. Take care of yourself first, because you can't give your all if you're empty. You can't give your all if you're not feeling that great. Make sure you set aside time for yourself each and every day. And for me, I get up early, even when I'm tired, because that's some time that I give to myself. I exercise, I write, because that is my self-care for the beginning of the day, so that I can try to at least make sure my day can run smoothly. Do I struggle every day being a mom? Yes. My son is growing up. He has a mind of his own. He has a mouth on him. Do I change? No, I don't want to change anything, because it challenged me to become the best versions of me. It tests my patience level, and as I learned about as my child, I also learned about myself. So yes, you're gonna struggle being a mother, and it can be rewarding. And I don't know how it feels when children become adults, because I haven't reached to that point yet. But I'm sure it's going to be more of a challenge. But there's nothing that I would take back, because being a mom to me has made me look at life differently. Get away from social media, because social media will try to question your parenting. I know when I first became a mom, people used to say stuff to me like, I don't know what I'm doing because I'm a first-time mom and I don't know how it feels. And so here I am 9 years later, but I can tell you one thing: my son is smart. He he's very what's the word? Lawyer-like. I can't figure out the word right there. So at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to parent. You just parent the best way that you can. Eat healthy and exercise, and I think this is important, right? When we're pregnant, of course, we want to eat a lot, but it's important to get yourself on a regular exercise and eating routine. Do I struggle with healthy eating? Yes, but I'm trying to make the best choices that I can for my body so that I can be here as long as I am meant to be on this earth, but having the best quality life that I can so that I can provide the best quality life for my son. And the last thing is to have a good support system. That's the main thing, is to have a good support system. I think without support, mothers will continue to struggle, and we need the support. We need to have someone here that can sometimes take the load off and give us a day so that we can get ourselves together. Because at the end of the day, like, women, we bring life into this world, and people don't understand, like, that's a big deal in itself, to be able to bring life into this world. And we need to have someone there to help us sometimes, to take the load off our back, to let us know that it's okay that we're struggling, but also have someone that can help us in the long run. Being able to have support at home will definitely make it better for those women that are struggling as mothers. But that's as much as I got for you. I hope that I helped in some way, and hope that you realize that you're doing the best that you can as a mother, and don't beat yourself up for not having all the answers and not being able to give your child everything that they want. Like, every now and then I get upset because I can't, but at the end of the day, I I know that I'm doing the best that I can, and all I can do is improve myself. And when I improve myself, I become the best me I can be, and in turn, I can become the best mother. And I want that for you as well. Never think that you're not doing enough, right? You're doing as much as you can, and that is okay. There are no perfect people in this world, and just love who you are. Love on your children as much as you can, and knowing that you are a mother, and that's more than enough. Be excited. Well, enjoy being the mom that you are. Don't forget the woman that you are too, and knowing that if you're struggling, please reach out for help. Don't let suicide, don't let those thoughts and feelings make you regret doing something, because I know from personal experience and from now that it's hard being a mom, but it can have benefits. So, saying all, let's say this. I hope that helped you in some way. I hope that you take this day and do something for yourself. Do something for yourself, even as simple as sitting outside, drinking a glass of wine, sipping on some coffee, listening to your music in the headphones. And if you have women in your life that are mothers, let them have a break. It's okay to be supportive in that way. It's okay to show them love in that way, because being a mom is hard. It's a hard job, and I wouldn't have it no other way, you know. So to say that I hope y'all enjoy this live. Go take care of yourself today, and remember that you are beautiful, you're important, and you matter. Oh, and if you are struggling immensely, they have a suicide hotline, 1-800-273-8255, suicidepreventionlifeline.org. We need you here. You deserve to be here. You're beautiful, you're growing, and you're loved, and you deserve love, and you give love. And I want you to enjoy this day to the best that you can. And remember that you matter. Fall in love with yourself so the world can fall in love with you. Until next time.